Hello, hello. Today is such a beautiful day outside. It's almost fall and I'm super excited. My favorite time of year. Took my dogs for a walk this morning and the weather was absolutely perfect. Hey, today we are going to be talking about action and the different kinds of action people take and what kind of action is important, what kind of action is not so important, and when we should do certain actions versus other actions. So let's start off by talking about people set goals and they make action plans and they give themselves a deadline and then they go off to do the work and they don't meet their goals. Why is that? Well, hopefully I can shed a little bit of light and I can tell you from my experience and what I've learned and what I did wrong in the past to help you become much more effective people in achieving your goals. I believe there are two kinds of action. There is passive action and there is massive action. And the definition of each is important to realize the difference of. Passive action is when you are consuming information. You are reading a book. You are watching a video. You are researching a topic. It's for, it's your education time about your goal. And oftentimes what can happen is people can get in this loop of doing passive action and so caught up in it that they're spending way too much time there. So passive action, simplified, is you're consuming information. Massive action, on the other hand, is when you are doing, when you're actually taking steps to achieve your goal. Now, in most instances, you need both passive and massive action. Let me give you an example of passive action in a goal-setting environment. Let's take weight loss, for example. You want to lose 25 pounds in 4 months. Is that even... Yeah, that's doable, I think. 24 pounds in 4 months. And you've got this action plan that you want to follow to get there. One of the first actions on your action plan is to figure out what diet you want to follow. So you go on the internet and you start researching the top diets that are trending right now. You might read some articles, you might see some success stories. What I used to do is I would spend hours there. I'd spend hours researching what I should be doing, what's the best diet for me, and then I could think about it for actually days. Should I do this diet? No, this diet. Maybe I need a little more research on this diet. I was consuming information. So you want to limit that. You want to quickly figure out what type of diet you want to do and go and do that diet. So you decide on your diet and then you buy a book and the book comes in the mail and you start reading that book. Now this is the difference between massive action and passive action. Reading the book, passive action. You read through chapter 1 and it tells you all kinds of stuff to do and you keep reading to chapter 2. There's more things to do. You keep reading chapter 3, more things to do, but you just keep on reading and you read the entire book from cover to cover and that takes you however long. I'm a pretty fast reader. I could probably do it in 2 days, but some people would take a week to do that. In that week's time, you aren't losing any weight because all you're doing is consuming that information. Now, if you think about massive action, you read chapter 1 and it tells you immediately to go into your pantry and get rid of the sugars, the flours, the muffins, the candy, the chocolate, the ice cream, the soda in your refrigerator. Go and throw all of that away. You read that chapter, and guess what? The massive action is to actually go in there and throw that stuff away. So you need a little bit of combination of both. Have you ever heard of the 80-20 rule or the 20-80 rule? I think it's the 80-20 rule. I'm sure you probably have. And this is what my teachers and my mentors have taught me, that you want to do between 10 and 20% of passive action and 80 to 90% of massive action. There's probably even a lot of your goals where you may not even have to do any passive action at all. You just do massive action. I think Tony Robbins was the person who coined that term, massive action. I love saying that. It's such a powerful saying because it's really what gets you to where you want to be, the bulk of it, right? So 20%, 10 to 20% passive action, 80 to 90% massive action. So chapter 1 is get rid of all of that sugar and bad stuff in your pantry. Chapter 2 might be your grocery list. Instead of just reading it, go out to the grocery store, buy the list of food that they suggest, then come home, prep the food, make your meals for the week so that you can be successful. Decide on your exercise plan. Do a little bit of research on your exercise plan. Do you want to walk versus run versus maybe a combination of walk, run? What's better for you? But don't spend a lot of time there. Pick something and go out and actually start running. The difference between passive action and massive action. So I hope this helps you. I know that it helped me a lot. The other thing that helped me that I could probably do a whole another video on is calendaring your massive action versus your passive action so that you stay on track, so that you make sure you're only doing that small percent of passive action and the majority of your items are massive action. So if I sit down and I look to see exactly what needs to be done, and then I calendar those events and I follow it to a T, it really helps out and helps you not stay in that bubble of passive action. Because the nice thing about passive action, especially if your goal is a little scary, which a good goal should be a little scary and should be make you frightened a little, have a little bit of fear. But when we have that, we can stay in that passive action mode because it feels like you're doing things, right? But you're really not getting that much closer to your end result. So if you calendar it on the calendar and say, I have exactly 2 hours to figure out what kind of diet I'm going to do and buy the book for that diet. Only allow yourself those 2 hours so that you can get the book and start on your diet and start making progress to get to the end mark and your goal and to achieve your goal. I hope this helps you out. I hope it helps you become a more effective and efficient person. And now go be the best version of yourself. Thanks.